down to school or something. Mr. Willis wanted moved from
The tax level,
yeah, he says an information item. It doesn't need to be voted on.
he said it didn't, but it was last year. I mean,
It was last year.
I don't know if it's recent.
Do you know if we had a hearing on it last year? Are you calling? It's feeling a little chilly.
You know, I started to bring my wrap. Except I brought my coat because I walked outside my garage with a coat. So I put this coat on. And I should have brought the wrap because I'm sitting here freezing. Because that air comes down from there.
Uh-oh. See, doesn't it need to, is this like a first reading or whatever? Don't we have an open, help me with this. If we move it, we have to have a hearing on it, right?
Yeah, well, what we're doing is just a presentation tonight. December, you'll do a hearing first, then you'll adopt.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why we're gonna move, it's not a proposed action.
Right, it's not proposed for action, it's just proposed for information.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
I'll move it to number 8.
yes.
Oh, you can put that in Miss Jackman, I'll put it in there, and Miss
Thorne, sir. I'm here
Thorne.
representing Washington. I'm class of 72.
Good to see you again,
Good to
sir.
see you. Ruth Bittner brought me in.
Oh, awesome.
Is Mr. Sierra staying out of trouble?
Yeah, I don't think he's feeling well. He hasn't been at the city
Well, I
council
recruited
meeting
him
also.
for Georgetown. I think he got an interview.
Oh, that's Sierra. Yeah, he's staying out of trouble. Normally he's up here, but it's a leisure student. All right, good seeing you, Thorne. His name is actually Thorne. No, I don't even drink. I smoke. You take
Can we do that ahead of time? Because the information items are at the top, right?
for Alex.
Yeah,
Alex
yeah.
here.
It's appropriate to say changing the agenda to accept item 8 on the consent agenda and the information. We got presentations tonight. It's open now. Good evening. Good evening. Hope everyone is well this evening. I would like to call the Peoria Public Schools Board of Education meeting for November 21st to order. And would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Pastor. Dr. Davison Avilas.
Here.
Mrs. Jackson.
Here.
Mr. Shaw.
Here.
Ms. Bates.
Here.
Mr. Walter.
Here.
Mr. Adler.
Here.
Mrs. Ross.
Here. Thank you. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, please have a motion to approve the minutes from November 7th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Would you please call the roll?
Dr. Davison Avilas.
Aye.
Mrs. Jackson.
Aye.
Mr. Shaw.
Aye.
Mr. Walter.
Aye.
Mr. Adler.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
6 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you. The Community Contribution Award this week goes to Bard Optical. Children cannot succeed academically with poor vision. Bard Optical generously supplies free glasses, and numerous Peoria students have benefited from those. Bard Optical President, Ms. Diana Hall, is here with us this evening. Would you please join us at the podium for a few words?
Thank you.
Hello.
First of all, I'd like to just speak from my heart for a moment. Having grown up in Peoria, a graduate of Harrison, Trewin, Manual, it's a thrill to watch all that's going on in the community, and especially focused on the school. I think there's a lot of excitement. There's always a lot of challenges, but I think there's a lot of excitement, and it's great to watch that from a community member, to see all that we have in front of us. So please know how much we appreciate that and all the hard work that this board and the administration puts into this effort as well. And then I guess for our initiative, each year when we celebrate our anniversary, and we're celebrating our 75th anniversary, we've thought about what we do to give back in our community for some specific effort. And each year we come back to the school district. So we feel that it's important to demonstrate our involvement in the community. That's been fabulous to us as we've continued to grow. And so what we do is select students that teachers recommend from the district that need some additional assistance, and then we provide examinations and eyewear for them. So as we all know, if you can't see very well, it's hard to learn some of the things that are presented for you. So we're fairly excited about that. All of our staff talk about this on a regular basis. So please know we appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this as well.
Thank you. And on behalf of Peoria Public Schools, Dr. Karat has a small token of our appreciation that she's going to present to you now. We appreciate your commitment and dedication to our students, staff of Peoria Public Schools.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so
I
welcome.
remember as a principal at Whittier, Manual, and Roosevelt, our kids benefited from your generosity.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
It's a
for
pleasure.
being supportive.
Thank you.
And you heard she's a graduate of Peoria Public Schools, right?
Thank you. Awards and recognition, a doctor school ceremony. Who's going to be presenting? Hi there.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. I'm here today to recognize 5 new partners, brand new partners, to 5 different schools. So collectively, let me just read some of the things that these groups have been doing. They've helped with distribution of Look, It's My Book. They've supplied school supplies. They've helped at school events. They've done honor roll breakfasts. They've even made pancakes for the breakfast. They read and help in the classrooms. They help pack snack packs. They provide lunch for the teachers. They read with the kids. They provide teacher appreciation. They mentor. And they have, we also have an alumni group back at their school. And we have a group that is doing quarterly presentations on health and wellness to the faculty. And we also have an annual food drive or clothing drive planned. So what I'm going to do, as you can tell, they've been pretty busy and it's exciting news for us. And what I'm going to do is present each organization with a certificate, and I'll have the principal come up. And then after, if you can stay, we're going to go in there and take some pictures. So I just want to thank you guys for letting us come and recognize these great people. And also, I can't think, of a better week to do this, Thanksgiving week, because we are very, very thankful to our partners. So can I have Erie Insurance at Woodrow Wilson? Ignite Church at Glen Oak Community Learning Center in Noli. That way. We have the Washington Alumni Group at Washington Gifted School. We have OSF Health and Community Health. Wait, Business and Community Health. I always get that wrong. Sorry, John. At Harrison Community Learning Center. See, it happens. It's great. And last but not least, we have the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at Sterling Middle School. A big round of applause. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is our most improved attendance for October. Oh, wait, announcements are not. Dr. Karat. Hi, Ms. Scott.
Good evening, Dr. Kratt and members of the Peoria Public School Board. My name is Laura Bali, and I'm here on behalf of the Rolling Acres Attendance Committee with Mrs. Carrie Behrens and Miss Marnie Rura, who also serve on the attendance committee with myself. Tyler Christensen was not able to be here tonight, but he also serves on the attendance committee with us. We are so excited that our students are exhibiting such awesome growth in the area of attendance because as a committee, we realize, and as a school and building and just everything, we realize how important their attendance is at Rolling Acres and how by increasing their attendance, they're able to achieve higher levels of academic growth because they're spending more time in front of their teachers and receiving more time with instruction in the classroom. As a team, last week we were very fortunate to meet with Dr. Simpson and Ms. Sanphilip at Rolling Acres. They had wonderful insights for us on how we could continue to grow our attendance program and support all of our students within the middle school. Looking into the month of December, we are going to now look at our attendance data and reward students whose attendance has increased throughout the first semester. So we're going to look at kids who were struggling and reward those who have been able to grow their attendance rate throughout the quarter and the semester. Once those students have been identified, we will host a breakfast for the students and their parents before winter break as our way of being appreciative, saying congratulations and thank you. In addition, we would like to thank Mrs. Beth Derry at the Regional Office of Education for her gracious support with the attendance initiative, as her donation to our school will be used towards the student and parent breakfast at the end of the semester. In addition to rewarding those students who have increased attendance, we are also initiating a student advisory panel, and we're going to invite students who have high attendance rates, students who struggle with attendance, and they're going to meet with members of the attendance committee, and we're going to talk with them about what ideas they have for helping their peers show success and growth in the area of attendance as well, because we figure they have the best insight as to what they need for their attendance growth. We are just so grateful for the support of the Peoria Public Schools administration and for our Rolling Acres community and our Rolling Acres family, because we realize that without them we could not do the things that we do in our school, and we look forward to continuing to serve and teach our students at Rolling Acres. Thank you very much.
You know what? You guys are amazing. Number one, you can tell they're leaders. They just took the show over, right? And I love it. I knew you were going to have a great year with attendance because I read your attendance plan, and it is beautiful. You're having fun, and you owned it, and you're working it every day. So this is so here are the stats. Last year around this time, Rolling Acres attendance was 94.7%, and now it is 96%. So they have increased by 1.59%. That's amazing. And we do have a banner for you. You can hang it up. It says, most improved attendance for the month of October.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Dr.
you're very, very welcome. Appreciate it. Awesome. Appreciate it. Would you like to make a remark?
Thank you.
You good? Okay. Awesome. Thanks for taking on the leadership. And then the other schools are, Mark Bills came in second place with a 0.6 gain. Mark Bills, can you please, Ms. Rogers, come on down, please. What are you doing? I know it's hard this time of year. Introduce your teacher and please share with us so others can learn.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is Miss V, and she's part of our attendance committee. And this year, initiating the Every Student, Every Day campaign. I think one of the biggest impacts that we're making with students is the teacher factor, the phone calls home at absence 2 and 4, the check and connect with teachers when they're absent, when the student's absent and they're coming back, they're paired. I do think that incentives and recognition definitely help as well, but I don't think anything is quite as powerful as the connection that the teacher and the parent have and the teacher and the child have. So I would say that that overwhelmingly is probably one of the largest impacts. Do you want to say anything? Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Rogers, and I agree with you, that connection is so important. And then the third, the group that came in third place, we recognize three buildings out of the 27 buildings, Northmore with a .28 gain. I see Ms. Stockman. Ms. Stockman, can you join us, please? I know you're shy, but you ought to be proud and celebrate your staff and your kids and the families. What any new things that you guys are doing that we've not heard regarding attendance?
I just think that we're being more proactive instead of waiting for them to have too many days of absences. We're starting much earlier with our check and connect and greeting those students and coming back and really cheering them on and welcoming back to school.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Board.
Thank you. And now, we have announcements. Anyone have any announcements? All right, Mr. Adler?
Peoria Public students won awards at the recent City of Peoria Appreciate Peoria Neighborhood Banquet. Peoria High freshman Julius Herring won the Youth Award for his leadership in the East Bluff Law and Order Academy. The Law and Order Academy, a group of students who spent their summer months mowing lawns and cleaning the East Bluff neighborhood, won the Pride in Peoria Award. Many of the Law and Order Academy are students from Glen Oak Community Learning Center. Judy Tox, owner of the Hive Studio and Gallery, won the Business Award for the Board Up project involving Peoria High School art students. The Peoria High School students worked from Tox's studio to paint large plywood boards used to beautify city-owned vacant homes prior to demolition.
Mr. Shaw?
Thank you. Peoria High Lions, 12-1, will face Vernon Hills on Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m. for the IHSA 5A State Championship in Champaign after defeating Morris on November 19th, 43-35 in the semifinals. It's the first state championship appearance for the Lions since 1988. There will be a pep assembly tomorrow at 1:45 at Peoria High School. For those wishing to attend the game at Memorial Stadium in Champaign on Saturday, ticket prices for the game are $10. You can ride the fan bus for an extra $5. You can also ride a charter bus. Game ticket and reservation for the Peoria charter bus is $45. Tickets are available tomorrow from 8 to 2 p.m. at Peoria High School. Team will depart Peoria High School on Friday at 10:45 a.m. We will post a link to watch the game online on our website. Fans can welcome the Lions back to Peoria at a parade on Sunday at 2 p.m. Parade will leave the former Cubs food parking lot at Knoxville in Nebraska, head north on Knoxville, east on Forest Hill, north on Prospect, west on War Memorial, south on Knoxville, and return to the school. So we should just celebrate being able to finish that. The celebration will follow the parade in the school's main gym at 3 p.m. And come on out and congratulate Coach Thornton and Peoria High School Lions.
Okay, yeah.
Ms. Jackson?
Thank you. School resource officers delivered holiday food boxes to 35 Peoria Public School families today and will finish with 15 more boxes tomorrow. The resource officers donated and shopped for turkeys and collected about $1,000 in donations to include all the ingredients for side dishes. The boxes were packed and decorated by students at Richwood High School, Manual Academy, and Peoria High School. Officers hope to complete a similar project as we get closer to the Christmas holiday and hope to make both community service projects an annual event. If you would like to donate to assist district families in need, contact Peoria Public School Safety Director Demario Boone by calling 672-6855. Kudos to our school resource officers. The Peoria Public Schools will join the Illinois State Board of Education in the 5th statewide 5 Essential Survey of School Climate and Learning Conditions. The survey provides an opportunity for students, teachers, and parents to have a voice in improving their schools. Starting next week through January 16, students, teachers, and parents will be asked to take a 25-minute research-based survey to help identify strengths and weaknesses in our school's learning environment. The 5 essential survey gives district and school administrators the chance to reflect on progress since the last statewide implementation. While the survey is required by the State Board of Education every 2 years, Peoria Public School asks parents to participate annually as part of the district's strategic plan. Thank you.
Mr. Balder?
As you have heard by now, Peoria County voters approved a 0.5% sales tax increase on November 8th to support the schools of all 18 districts in the county. Later tonight, the board is expected to take a first step to help get started within Peoria Public Schools late this spring. As campaign manager, Andrea Tortora helped organize and make more than 1.2 million impressions via billboards, radio, newspaper, social media, lawn signs, speaking engagements, community forums, and more. The effort helped pass the measure with a 50.6% of 77,603 votes cast. Peoria County Superintendent credits the campaign manager for providing a great day for education in Peoria County. Andrea's energy, leadership, and hard work helped provide the entire community with stronger schools, stronger students, and a stronger community. On behalf of all the districts in the county, we are honored to present this plaque in recognition of the hard work that Andrea and her many volunteers accomplished to help pass this measure. And as not part of the script, I'd like to thank Mr. Adler, who worked tirelessly for this board to make this happen. So, Andrea.
Where is she? Oh,
Mr. Walters, you did a fantastic job. I mean, this young lady, she's a parent. She has 2 children. This is so beautiful. I'm afraid I'm going to destroy it. But I wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to see this. Isn't that lovely? So, Mick, we're going to have you. Yeah.
Except it's not yellow.
Thank you. That's
This
totally
is
unnecessary.
amazing. Now I forgot what I was going to say. But actually, Andrea has 2 children, one at Keller and one at Washington.
Right.
And we were, how come you ended up being selected for this project? I think you're part of our
You called me up.
She did such an amazing job with a reading program. That's how we got connected, and you asked me to read, and I was just really impressed with the organization and the amazing work you did. And when we decided that we really needed to do this campaign, Chris and I, we were looking at each other, and I looked at Chris and saw how tired we both looked. I'm like, we can't take on another assignment. And we both said, Andrea. I'm like, yes. And so that's how you kind of got involved with that. So Mick, maybe you can read the, we'll give you something to do. And we appreciate you so much.
Well, don't drop it.
On November 8, 2016, Peoria County voters approved a half-cent school facility sales tax increase to benefit all Peoria County's children by investing in all local public schools. As campaign manager, Andrea Tortora helped organize and make more than 1.2 million impressions via billboard, radio, newspaper, social media, lawn signs, speaking engagements, community forums, and more. The effort helped pass the measure with a 50.6% yes out of 77,603 votes cast. Peoria County Superintendents credit the campaign manager for providing a great day for education in Peoria County. Andrea's energy, leadership, hard work helped provide the entire community with stronger schools, stronger students, and a stronger community. Vote yes for schools. Sign is at the bottom.
Thank you. Well, this is completely unexpected and, you know, in my mind, really not necessary. I was happy to assist. I'm the daughter of 2 retired school teachers. My sister is a school teacher, and I am not a school teacher because I do not have the patience for such a job. But I did not do this alone. I had many volunteers Dan Adler devoted a ton of work to this. This is the first political campaign I've ever worked on, so I really had no idea what I was doing, but I know marketing and I know how to communicate, and I just trusted my gut, and luckily voters heard our message and voted yes. So thank you all for everything you did to make this campaign pass, and thanks for having confidence in me and asking me to help out. I really enjoyed it. I met a lot of wonderful people, and I hope you can all come be guest readers at Keller. It's the week of February 6th. Look for an email from me. We need readers. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments? Ms. Bates? Oh, you haven't written else?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see your hand.
The Peoria Public Schools and Richwoods High School, in partnership with the City of Peoria, local businesses, and Junior Achievement of Central Illinois, launched an initiative which may be the only one of its kind in the nation. The brainchild of Junction City's Alexis Chasm APSCO, which stands for a Peoria Public Schools Company, will be a fully functioning, revenue-producing company designed to bring a cutting-edge mobile marketing tool to Central Illinois retailers and businesses. The mobile app will provide Peoria businesses with a customizable marketing tool to build their brand, engage customers, and increase sales by offering notifications, coupons, geofencing, and loyalty programs. Unlike typical entrepreneurial ventures, however, AppsCo will be entirely staffed by Richwoods High School students. Giving them a chance to earn income and revenue produced by the company will return to the Peoria Public Schools. The project will kick off in January when 30 students will take a weekly after-school 7-week JA entrepreneurial course. We anticipate the students to launch their company in early March. More details on the project will be in this week's Remarkable Times. Mark your calendars. Peoria High School will host its annual Magical Dinner at the school on Saturday, December 3rd, 2016. Doors will open at 6:15 p.m. Tickets are available for $20 of the dinner and show for the general public and adults. District staff and students can get tickets for only $15, and children ages 6 to 12 can get tickets for only $10. A table of 8 can be purchased for a discount price of $136 or $17 each. This ticket includes first in line for food as well. You can order tickets by calling 309-672-6630 or any mixed ensemble or drama student. For information, contact Mr. Webb at simon.webb@psd150.org. Richwoods High School will host its magical dinner on December 17th and 18th. Check out the Richwoods website for more information in the coming weeks.
Thank you. Other announcements?
I have one.
Okay.
I have an announcement. Oh,
Okay.
can we go?
Go ahead.
I'll go. If you've not yet seen it, I encourage everyone to read the letter from Shannon Rule published in the Journal Star. That letter entitled Peoria Parent, Give Peoria Schools More Credit can be found at www.pjstar.com and at www.peoriapublicschools.org. We appreciate the positive comments of Ms. Rule and many of the other parents who agreed with her opinion through social media. Her perspective was a well-thought-out and assisted in sharing our district's message and mission that our staff is working hard to ensure that each student reaches his or her full academic and personal potential and is a well-balanced citizen. If you go to our website and you just click on it, you'll see her editorial. It's really beautiful, and so we thank her for that, and quite a bit of parents concurred with the experience that her kids are getting a great education, so we wanted to share that with the public.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Davidson.
Apparently, others, this is not in the script, this is just me, sorry, Chris, but apparently others have the same thoughts about you. Congratulations to Dr. Sharon Desmoulins-Karat on being named Most Valuable Citizen by the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Peoria, and by the Heart of Illinois United Way. The award, titled What Matters, recognizes Dr. Demoulin Karat's dedicated service, vision, leadership, and generosity in making a significant and positive difference in the lives of Boys and Girls Club members.
Chris.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything?
No, I'm surprised that Chris remembered.
Thank you. Okay. All the announcements, right? Yeah, district presentation. All right, district presentation, Mr. Eric Thomas, Knoxville Center for Student Success, Evening Academy. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Karat, President Ross, board members, and administration. Before I begin, I have to give a shout out to my AIO, Dr. Bell, and to the best staff that I know, the Knoxville Center staff. We have one here, Lana Meyer, so shout out to them as well. They really are the best staff that I know. I also have to give a shout out to each high school administrator and counselor from the Big Three, Manual, Peoria High, and Richwoods, as well as Dr. J at Woodruff. Without their support, assistance, and of course students, there would not be a Knoxville Center for Student Success. It is my pleasure to briefly talk about the proposed Knoxville Center Evening Academy. This is another option/choice for students that aren't necessarily being successful in the traditional setting. What the Evening Academy is really an expansion of what we have been doing for the last 3 years. During this time, students have been able to stay after school on Monday through Thursday from 2:30 to 5:30 and spend more time on credit recovery. In the past, we have done this with 3 staff members. What the Evening Academy is not is a dumping ground for where all the bad kids go. When I describe the Knoxville Center, I reluctantly use the words alternative high school, but I do. What I prefer is that Knoxville Center is a school of choice, just as a career tech at Woodruff, the Academy and Pathways model at Manual, Fine Arts at Peoria High, and IB at Richwoods. The new proposed academy includes 9 staff including 4 teachers, 2 teacher assistants, 1 secretary, 1 school resource officer, and 1 PM custodian. We are looking at duplicating what we do during the school day to match what we do in the evening, but in a shorter time frame. Incoming students will have to adhere to building expectations, which includes turning in cell phones and maintaining a more conservative dress code. No holes or ripped jeans, no sagging, no innuendo. Students coming to us will do so by council referral from their home high school. Students will go through the intake process with me or designated staff and his or her parent. The importance is that this is voluntary, totally voluntary. At no point is this being presented as a punishment or a mark of shame for the student. The benefit of the Evening Academy is that it gives students that are willing to take advantage of the Knoxville Center a new opportunity at a fresh start. As much as possible, we have removed a lot of distractions and kept things relatively simple. At just over 10,000 square feet, our building is the smallest in the district. Though we laugh and sometimes have fun, and I do say sometimes, our main focus is for students to graduate or catch up in credits so they can graduate. We pull in students from all over the district, and for the most part, this has been done without much disruption. I believe that students don't set out to fail or to even drop out, but life happens, tragedy happens, and unfair circumstances do occur. These challenges don't magically disappear once students enroll, but we can usually assist them some way in their situation if we can catch them at the right time. I anticipate that attendance will continue to be our greatest challenge as a school. However, we will continue to work our attendance plan and keep the pressure on our students to come in, meet, and exceed expectations. In closing, I am very competitive, stubborn, and ambitious, especially as it relates to our students and graduation rates. Last year, 67 Knoxville Center students completed coursework and graduated from Peoria Public Schools. This accounted for just over 10% of the total graduates district-wide. This year, I want to surpass that mark. With new initiatives like the Evening Academy, I believe that this can become an eventual reality. I thank you for this opportunity and will happily answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Thomas? Dr. Davidson.
Mr. Thomas, bienvenidos. Nice to see you again, my friend.
Hola.
Could you please again, you mentioned this, but if you could please repeat, who will staff the Evening Academy?
9 staff, 4 teachers, 2 teacher assistants, 1 secretary, 1 school resource officer, and 1 PM custodian.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Thomas? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kathleen Coral, did I ever introduce you guys to her?
Go ahead. Dr. Karat has an introduction.
Just quickly, I noticed Mrs. Coyle is in the room with us, and thank you so much for attending the board meeting. Can you stand, please, and maybe come to the podium? She, and just a few remarks, quickly, if that's okay. The director of our Alignment Peoria initiative, and I would like to introduce you to a board. So here, there they are.
Well, thank you, and it's been a pleasure to sit in the audience. I'm actually a former elected trustee for Illinois Central College, so I've actually been in the position of being an elected school official myself, so it's interesting and much more enjoyable to be in the audience, quite honestly. But I'm very excited to be tasked with leading Alignment Peoria. We have a lot of good people on board and coming together and forming a collaboration between our school district and social services, government agencies, faith-based organizations, and it's coming together very nicely. And with the great leadership that we have on this board, I think anything is possible in the future. So thank you, and I look forward to working with all of you in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay. We are now at the place on our agenda that provides an opportunity for the members of the community who wish to address the board. As you know, we are all volunteers elected to oversee the development, implementation, and maintenance of a quality education for the students of Peoria Public Schools, District 150. The board welcomes your comments and suggestions relating to this goal. Recognizing that we all have our First Amendment rights of free speech, we ask that your comments be focused on those issues within the board's authority. There are some issues we are not at liberty to discuss in public, such as personnel and other executive session topics. However, if you have a specific personal concern that needs to be addressed, we will get a staff person to help you. In addition, board members are accessible outside of these meetings. Our phone numbers and emails are listed on the website psd150.org. We realize that 5 minutes may not be enough time for some of you to express your thoughts, so we have installed a comment box over on the side of the wall for your comments and for your convenience. Our board secretary will collect those comments after each board meeting and compile and share with the board and superintendent. When you are recognized, please come to the podium and state your name for our records. Each speaker has 5 minutes, and no one under age 18 may address the board unless accompanied by a parent, guardian, or teacher without the consent of the majority of the board. First person that would like to speak tonight is Ms. Sharon Cruz. Welcome, Ms. Cruz.
Hang on while I secure this apparatus. Okay. Manual has not had a stable faculty since 2007. In 2008, the Johns Hopkins grant resulted in the transfer of 25 veteran teachers, not including administrators and support staff. Of the 17 teachers who were allowed to stay, 5 left after 1 year and 4 left in 2 years. For the 9 years from 2008 to the present, 120 teachers taught for only 1 year, and 44 taught for only 2 years, if your data is correct. In the light of the current shortage of teachers, I would hope that you would try to ascertain why Manual lost these 164 teachers. The science department lost 36 teachers after 1 year. For 3 years, there were no chemistry or physics teachers. 13 math teachers left after only 1 year, and 2 left after only 2 years. 17 English teachers left after only 1 year, and 3 left after 2 years. Manual lost 3 French teachers after 1 or 2 years, and 5 Spanish teachers after 1 or 2 years. For 3 years, there was no French teacher, and this year there is no Spanish teacher. 21 special ed teachers have left after 1 year, and 8 left after 2 years. 29 teachers left after only 3 years at Manual. Only 34 teachers stayed for 4 years or more. After I realized that the first FOIA response was incomplete, I asked for and received a repeat response. The names in black were reported on both sets of data. The names in purple or green ink were on only the first set. The names in brown ink were only on the second set. That was about 200 names difference. I am baffled at how difficult it is for this district to maintain accurate records considering the amount of money that has been spent on technology for that purpose. I found it interesting that 12 job titles for various support staff positions were listed for only 1 year. Another 3 were listed for 2 years and 3 for 3 years. How many students benefited from those short-lived offerings? The number of teachers in a particular department seems to fluctuate considerably. For example, for math, the count is 8, 8, 9, 12, 13, 10, 7, 7, 8. I missed the discussion about one bit of information that surprised me. The position of Dean of Students has been eliminated at all 4 high schools. Now each school has 3 or 4 assistant principals, some of whom are assigned the task of handling discipline. Please don't tell me that the title, Dean of Students, was too intimidating. During my 36 years at Manual, the turnover of teachers was nothing like the record of the last 9 years that started with Johns Hopkins. I hope you all understand that veteran teachers, not administrators, are the best mentors for new teachers, that it takes several years for teachers to hone their academic and classroom management skills, and that teachers who teach for several years build a rapport with families that cannot be achieved in 1 or 2 years. Manual has been cheated of the stable faculty that students need. Please do everything in your power to rebuild what has been lost at Manual. According to the October 24 minutes, Dr. Karat stated that Title I money was used for summer school. Please allow me to clarify that before Dr. Royster, no Title I funds were used. Summer school was self-funded, but you have no records because you all lost them. Also, Carla Eman stated that social emotional learning, interventionists, and technology are more beneficial than summer school. Opinions need to be substantiated with data, please. I compiled data to prove my assumptions that Manual's faculty is not stable. How much is each year's reduction in staff responsible for these losses? I apologize for my tone, but I was truly upset by what I found out by doing this study. Manual has lost.
Thank you. Mr. Terry Knapp.
I'd like to in turn thank Ms. Cruz for all the hard work she does. I know how much time she put into this. I watch over her shoulder from a distance, and she is truly a trooper when it comes to pointing out research that the district should be doing, not the taxpayer, but the district. I would also like to thank her again because this reflects also the same thing at Quest School. We've talked about that the last couple of times I've spoken, and Quest has turned over all of their teachers except one in 6 years. Nobody stays very long at Quest, obviously, and like it or not, this is one of your schools. It's not the board at Quest School, it's your school. You've chosen to give this to them. I gave you a handout tonight. If you look at it, please. It's a FOIA request, and it's kind of interesting because the lawyers, again, fill out, I guess, the FOIA request at Quest. Quite an expense, by the way, I assume. I have the one from last year. The same request went to them last year. They gave us all the information last year. They gave us the students, the names of the students that dropped out. This year, they choose not to give it to us and challenge us, I guess, to go to the Attorney General to get the information. I'm not going to do that because it's not a waste of my time, but it's not something I'm going to do. It's very important you understand the lack of transparency now at Quest. Also, I want to go down to the middle of the page where it tells you how many kids are in each class at Quest. It says 5th grade, 85, 79, 81, 83, 9th grade, 93, 10th grade, 11th grade, 48, and 12th grade, 42. Now, I remind you, their charter says 75. And I had a discussion with a couple of people that said, well, they don't charge us if they take 85 or 90. That's not the point. Just because we're sending them extra students and we don't have to pay them and they get out of our hair to go over to Quest, Quest is going to drop these students. Last year, they had about 75 in every class. Do you see 85 on average? 85 means that these people are going to drop 10 kids out of each of those classes to get to 75. So if Ms. Cruz is teaching at Calvin Coolidge and I'm at Quest and I send her 3 students in the middle of the year and I eventually get down to 75 because that's my goal anyway, it's cheating the students. The students are being told you're a failure. They come into Ms. Cruz's class at Calvin Coolidge and they're disruptive. The students at the school know they've been dropped out of Quest. They know that there's something wrong with those kids. That's why they've been dropped out, and it's not good practice. It's not, they said at the beginning 6 years ago, I was at the first meeting, we are going to do everything we can to see these students are successful and graduate. Look at this junior and senior class, 48 and 42. Where did the 75 kids go? I asked you that before. Nobody wants to answer that question. They're dropped out, kicked out, leave, disenchanted, whatever. This is not a successful school, and if you think that those numbers reflect success, you're wrong. I've been in education my whole life. You're just simply absolutely wrong. It's very important also that you remember again that they don't offer the program, so they're co-opting now this year, second year in football and the first year in girls basketball. Not a good idea, bus kids over to another school district, with taxpayer money following them. I don't want my taxpayer money going over there following them. Again, the exit survey concept. How do these manual teachers leave this district and you do not know? The Board of Education should demand when this problem exists that exit surveys be done both at Quest and at Manual. This is inordinate. This has been talked about before here. We cannot lose teachers wholesale and expect success for our students. You need to look into this. You need to also look into the Woodruff kids and whether or not they're even successful. And again, I challenge you to look at the Valeska-Hinton situation. Are these kids successful? I've asked it 10 years to do a study to see if the Valeska-Hintons, the 3- and 4-year-olds that go to Valeska-Hinton, do they even graduate from high school? This research is easily done. It was admitted to by people in our research department here. Nothing has been done to reflect that one way or the other. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Shantaria Spriggs, Miss Spriggs? Good evening.
Good evening. I have a problem. I have 2 grandchildren that attend Sterling Middle School. I feel like they're being bullied. The principal has to take them home. My oldest grandchild was stabbed in the hand with a pencil. The nurse called because she had to dig the lead out. We were told that it was an accident, and I don't know how you accidentally stab someone in the hand with a pencil and you leave the lead in. I don't know what happened to that child, but my daughter took her kids out of school for safety reasons. I told my daughter to come here. She was told that there was protocol, so to go back to the school to see what's going to happen. Well, 2 weeks went by without my grandkids being in school. She finally took them back to school because they wanted to go to school. She let them go back to school. The first day back to school, there still was a problem. The principal have to bring them home. I want to know if you're there for my kids. You tell me that my kids are safe in school. I'm lying to my kids, telling my kids they're safe in school, and they're really not. I would like for something to be done. You can't understand why kids bring knives to school and guns to school. You know why they do that? Because they're afraid and no one's listening. I would like for you guys to listen. I would like something to be done. I've tried to get my kids to go, well, my grandkids put in a different school. Well, that can't happen because they're not in that district. I'm appalled, I'm mad, and I would like something done. I had a whole speech in my head, but I don't even want to give that speech. I just would like to be heard and for my grandkids to be safe at school. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Welch. Ms. Spriggs, Mr. Welch will be meeting with you as soon as we are finished here. Okay? Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. Okay, at this point in the on the agenda, we'd like to have an item that is under action to be moved to information, because at this point it's information only, and that is the tax levy. It is not up for action at this point because it has to come back to the public, and we have a hearing on it. So Mr. Willis has asked us to move it to information item. So number 8 on the agenda under consent, property tax levy would be moved up to information item for a presentation. And would you like to do that presentation now, Mr. Willis?
Sure.
Okay.
And there it is.
Thank you.
This particular slide just really gives you an outline about the tax levy process, background information, and then levy information. One of the things that, and I'll send this PowerPoint presentation to each of you tomorrow, but some of the definitions that we have are listed here. And basically what we'll be talking about tonight primarily is the second line, which is the amount of tax revenue that we will in December request your authorization and approval on. And we submit that tax revenue request or levy request to the county. The county converts that at the appropriate time to an actual tax rate. But in terms of process, what we've done, we've estimated the revenue we believe is needed in accordance with tax rate maximums. Education fund has a maximum rate. Operations and maintenance fund has a maximum rate. A number of funds have maximum rates. So in accordance with Illinois law, we have developed revenue estimates. Tonight, we are making a presentation to you regarding those calculations. Step 3, publication of truth and taxation in terms of timeline, does not apply in our case. That would be a special notice with special advertisements, et cetera, if what we are proposing exceeded 5% compared to last year. And our percent increase is just a little over 1%. And so that piece does not come into play for us this year. We will have at our next board meeting, by way of process, a tax levy hearing, after which we would ask that you approve the tax levy. Then we'll file with the county clerk the necessary information, which will lead to a tax rate being calculated. This kind of gives you an idea about our planning process, and the long and short of that is we work with our county assessor in terms of what to expect by way of property values, and that gives us an idea about what we should request of you in terms of estimated revenues and tax levy. Just as an overview, you can see here taxes represent about 40% of our overall income, and that we expect that income to be over 70 million. Here is a chart that reflects our property values. You can see that in 2013, our property values hit about $1.3 billion. And since then, it's gone up just slightly, and we expect a slight increase this year. This chart gives you an overview of our tax rates, and you can see that starting around 2013-14, those two lines go up. One, the total line slightly, and then the red line slightly. And both, basically, that has to do with our debt service payments. That's an area in our operation where we've got two brand-new elementary schools. Those were largely, they were paid for with debt, and the debt service schedule inches up every single year, and it takes just a little bit of an increase in our levy in order to pay for those increased debt payments. And so that's what you're seeing there. In terms of calculation, if you go to the bottom right, that $5.28 is basically what we were looking at when this time last year, and the amount that got extended to generate that rate was about $70.8 million. In terms of this year's extension, our assessor is indicating that our values will increase about 1.6%. In order to figure out what really should be extended, we used a slightly higher estimate. What we would ask you for in terms of approval in December is a recommendation that we believe, when all is said and done, will generate a tax rate roughly of about $5.30, and that'll be just a hair over $0.015 compared to last year's rate. In terms of percent, it would calculate out to be about 1/3% increase. And again, that increase is completely due to increased debt payments that we see in our debt schedule that are already predetermined, and it takes slight increases in our tax levy and in our tax rate to support those payments. And so from here, just in terms of process, our December meeting will actually have a tax rate hearing. Then we'll follow that with a request of, that you approve the tax rate. And we just wanted to give you an idea tonight about what you can expect from us in terms of numbers and kind of some background related to those numbers. And we'll request that you approve a tax levy in December 12th, 2016.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Willis on this presentation? Okay. Mr. Willis, you did say that you would be sending that
Yes.
to the board.
Yes, I'll actually send this out tonight.
Okay. If you would, please, please wordsmith it. I heard in the back of my ear here, it says District 150, and it should say Peoria Public Schools. Before you send the slide out, would you please correct that?
Where is that?
It's in there. Okay. All right.
I will say there was a moment there.
Okay. All right. Seeing no questions from Mr. Willis. The next is, are there any questions on proposed expenditures over $2,500? If so, Mr. Willis would be able to answer those for us. Board members.
And I apologize for not getting you an overview, but we've got 11 purchase orders that we are requesting your approval on tonight. Those purchase orders total $80,662.68. In terms of requisitions, we are asking your approval for 2 requisitions tonight. They total $64,621.82. And on the purchase orders, we had mostly typical kinds of items, but we did see some few different things like playground materials for Valeska Hinton was one of the things, and some cooking materials for another school, some activity fund reimbursements for one of our high schools, some things like that which we haven't seen on other list of bills, but in this particular set, this particular time of year, it's pretty typical. Other than that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to respond to any question you might have.
I believe we do have that report on the purchase orders. We do have that.
Okay.
Let me see. Yes. Any questions of Mr. Willis on proposed expenditures over $2,500? No. Seeing none, we move on to the report of requests under the Freedom of Information Act and the status of such requests. Dr. Karate.
Thank you, Madam President. Since our last board meeting, which was held on November 7th, we received 3 requests, and of these requests, 1 was filled. There was 1 pending request noted on November 7th. This one has since been filled. So to date, we have received 59 requests for this calendar year for a cost of $3,509.50.
Thank you. Action items, we are now at the consent agenda. Mr. Adler?
We have 7 items on the consent agenda tonight. First item is the gifts to the school district. This meeting totals $2,320. Year-to-date, $144,000, $144.16.65. Item number 2 is the payment of bills. Item number 3 is payment for travel. Item 4 is the Human Resources Report. Item 5 is the approval of the resignation agreement with teacher Audra Hayes. Item 6 is the field trip approval for the Peoria High School State Championship Football. Go Lions! And item 7 is the underwriter engagement agreement with Stifel, Nicholas and Company as senior manager. And that is the totality of the consent agenda.
All right. Are there any agenda items, consent agenda items, any board member would like to move for a separate vote? Mr. Walter?
I'd like number 7 pulled, so that's an individual vote, please, the underwriter
Number
agreement.
7? Okay. Any other items? Okay, may I have a motion on those items other than number 7?
I move that we adopt consent agenda items 1 through 6.
Second.
Would you please call the roll?
Dr. Davidson Aviles.
Aye.
Mrs. Jackson.
Aye.
Mr. Shaw.
Aye.
Mr. Walther.
Aye.
Mr. Adler.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
6 ayes, motion carried.
And number 7, item number 7, Mr. Walter.
Yes. I want to preface this with that Mr. Willis may be my favorite chief financial officer in the free world, so this is not a reflection on him. I think it's important, and we're taking a look at doing a bond agreement for over $50 million worth of bonds. I would like to make a recommendation that we hold off on this till at least the December 12th meeting. I would like to see some other competitive bids. We have one group that has presented this to us. We have till May to really get this thing going. I would think it'd be more prudent for the board to get some other people to come in here. I'm not taking anything or saying anything discouraging against Stifel because I think they've done a good job in assisting us. But I think it would be prudent for us to take a look at some other bids or some other people who would come in there and see what they would do to compare. So my request to the board right now is just to table this till the next board meeting on December 12th. I think this is too large an amount of money. When you're talking about bonding, and I don't pretend to be an expert, but just fractions of pennies difference between a company can make a whole lot of difference in how much goes to that company and what they get paid for. Bond people get paid, they get a percentage of this. I don't know the percentage what other bond people are going to get or what the other services are. So part of this is from an absolute knowledge that I have, but seeing how we only have one choice here, I would just like to hold off until the 12th and we get some other people in here to compare that. That's my request.
Ms. Jackson?
I guess my question would be, has anybody else submitted anything to the district regarding the bonds? Any other company? Or did we ask for others?
We did not request other information from other people. What I did do is take a look at what our underwriter costs were the last time we did a bond deal. When we last sold bonds, the bond, the underwriter, their fee was $7.50, ranging from $7.50 to $9 per thousand. That is the information that we found on the last bond sale. This particular group is providing a service at $4.75 per thousand. And so in terms of pricing, I felt like $4.75 compared to $7.50, the range of $7.50 to $9, was certainly competitive. There's another piece, and that has to do with service. And I've been in this business over 28 years. I've sold bonds for 28 years, whether that's original issue or refundings or refinancings, crossover, I mean, you name it, I've done it. I can tell you that in my experience, Stifel Nicholas is hands down the best in the business in terms of knowing what districts need, being able to deliver on that, and always ensuring that districts have as much as they can have to work with. So I've had the fortune of working with that group before, and they, without question, have delivered every single time. So pricing is a piece of it, but service is a piece of it too. And if I were to rate their level of service 1 to 10, I'd probably give them 11.5 or 12. So that's what I stand on in making a recommendation to you for Stiefel Nicholas to sell our bonds for this particular issue. In terms of experience with districts who have passed county facility sales tax, there have been 39 counties who have passed this, and that was prior to November 8th, and we picked up another 8. But out of the 39 counties that have passed this measure, they have actually worked with 43 districts on county facility sales tax measures. They've worked with 43 districts in terms of selling bonds. They've done about actually it's over $325 million of bond sales. The record is there, and they've delivered on all of those. I looked at that in terms of making a recommendation as well, and I feel very confident that they could do as good or a better job for us as they've done for the 43 other districts in 39 counties, $325 million of bond deals.
And that decision was not made in isolation. We worked very, very closely together on it, and I endorsed the recommendation and said, let's take it forth to the board.
With all due respect, I think if they're as great as you think they are, I don't think they should have a problem in making that case for us with some other competitive bids here. I'm just a little concerned about $50 million worth of bonds that we as a board are going to be committing to this firm. And I don't disagree with either one of you. I just feel more comfortable if we had some other bids that were out there. That's all I'm asking.
Davis and
At the end of the day, so it was eloquent. Thank you. Jotted a few notes down. What could it hurt? We still have them. You know, we still have this. It's not like if we don't do something tonight, we're losing a commitment, and we're on our own. All it will cost us is a little time, and who knows? I mean, maybe we're at 90% right now, and maybe there's a 10% chance out there that we can get something that provides us a better contract with service. Maybe not. Look, you don't want to be at my house and buy a flat screen TV. Just ask my wife. Because you know what I do? When I buy a flat screen TV, I go out and I go to virtually every website I can find to look at what kind of TV I'm getting, how much it's going to cost, whether the company I'm buying it from is going to be around next year. It just makes sense. And if I would take that kind of time for something as small as a TV, I think we can spend a couple of weeks for $50 million. No? Really?
Other comments?
Mr. Willis, if we were to defer until the December meeting, does that hurt our timetable in terms of preparing for summer projects as we spoke about before the vote?
Right now, we estimate that project funds, assuming that we start now, would be available somewhere around spring break, which is, April. So we'd obviously push out beyond that. So, worst case scenario, I guess, we could potentially push availability of funds out into a couple of weeks, into early, mid-May. So yes, it could have an impact on timing. Absolutely.
Well, if I could.
I just make a point of order. I'm not sure if Mr. Walther intended to make a motion to table or was just suggesting that it be tabled.
Suggesting. I
Okay.
haven't made a motion
All
yet.
If he does make such a motion, it requires a second, and it's not debatable.
Right.
Yeah, I realize that. Thank you. Okay, well, I would only say as past practice, so to speak, there are certain areas that we we consider a recommendation based on service like our auditor. We don't do a bid on the people that do our audit and several other things that are done. So I'm not sure if this is, it fits in that category, but we can just see what the pleasure of the board is.
Are you asking for
No, it's consent.
consent, or
No.
are you asking for a vote?
Well, what I'm asking is for us to consider whether we're considering Mr. Walters' recommendation or not, or request or not. And I guess that is,
You have to do something.
yeah, consent. So, Ms. Jackson, will you consider his recommendation and holding it off till the next time?
No, I'm prepared to, with the explanation that Mr. Willis gave us. I'm ready to vote on it.
Okay. Dr. Davison Aviles?
A couple of weeks is not going to hurt us. I just assume wait a couple of weeks. But look, I'm not committed to that. If we're going to vote tonight, I'd be happy to do that. I'm just thinking my druthers would be a couple of weeks.
Mr. Shaw?
I'd like to know if you had to put an RFP together, could it be ready by, could you have a response, could you have responses back by next meeting? Because
No.
Okay, so that's now we're getting
No,
into,
no.
so it's going to be longer than.
Yeah, well, what would happen is, our next meeting is 2 weeks from tonight. So basically, we'd have to issue an RFP, let's say tomorrow, and the responses would need to be due a week from Friday, actually, probably a week from Wednesday. And then we'd have to evaluate those responses and make a recommendation over 2 days in order to bring a recommendation to you. I mean, because we've only got 2 weeks between now and the next board meeting, and a couple of those days are holidays. So so we wouldn't be able to do an RFP process. There's not enough time. If you do an RFP process, you're talking about a January board meeting approval. First board meeting is January 9th or something like that. That would be the soonest, using an RFP process, that you'd be able to look at information, just because of timing.
Mr. Shaw, can I just address that issue? It doesn't have to be an RFP process. If Mr. Willis contacted 3 or 4 other bonding companies to see if they'd be interested in doing one, you don't have to do it. We're not required to do an RFP. Okay. So in that instance, he could request some bids from some other companies. I just want to clarify that.
Well, I guess that, Mr. Adler, I was trying to get that, everybody's.
So I'm ready to move on this. I appreciate the administration's recommendation, and it's always better to have more time, but it was a strong recommendation. I'm ready to move forward.
Okay. So with the recommendation that's on the board, I'll need a motion and second. Number 7.
I move that we adopt the underwriter engagement agreement with Stifel Nicholas and Company as senior manager.
I would second that.
Okay, is there any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, would you please call the roll? Would you please call the roll?
We're waiting for somebody to discuss.
No discussion, no. I said seeing none.
I'm sorry. Dr. Davison Aviles.
Aye.
Mrs. Jackson.
Aye.
Mr. Shaw.
Aye.
Mr. Walter.
Nope.
Okay. Mr. Adler.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
5 ayes, 1 nay, motion carried.
Thank you. That was the consent agenda. Next is the deliberation agenda, and that is revocation of expulsion held in abeyance. Mr. Adler.
Revocation of expulsions held in abeyance. The proposed action is the revocation of expulsions held in abeyance listed on the report dated November 21st, 2016 be approved as amended.
Second. I think you were by yourself, weren't you?
Yep.
Dr. Davidson Aviles.
Aye.
Mrs. Jackson.
Aye.
Mr. Shaw.
Aye.
Mr. Walter.
Aye.
Mr. Adler.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
6 ayes, motion carried.
Item 10 is the revocation of board probation. The proposed action is that the revocation of board probation listed on the report dated November 21st, 2016 be approved as presented.
Second.
Dr. Davidson Aviles.
Aye.
Mrs. Jackson.
Aye.
Mr. Shaw.
Aye.
Mr. Walter.
Aye.
Mr. Adler.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
6 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you. Presentation and suggestions by board members. I want to say to Mr. Walther, there was a point in time when you wanted to put something on the agenda
Yeah, we'll be on next time.
regarding the
Comcast?
The Comcast. This is the point in time you want to talk about something like that so that administration can research what it costs, that kind of thing. So if you'd like to, if that's what you'd like to bring up, you could do it at this time.
It is. It's one of the two things.
Okay.
I would like to have some research done by the administration if they could, because what I'm looking for is the reinstatement of Comcast to broadcast these board meetings. While we do stream it, it has been at times difficult for people to get the streaming in it. It's much easier access. I do believe that the board wants these meetings to be more transparent, and I would like to see Comcast, I have made some contacts to Comcast to see if that would be possible. They indicate it would be. That would be up to the board whether to do that or not. I'd also like, as a piece of that, to explore, obviously not this year, but if we were to do that. In the past, we have had Richwood students, as part of their training, they've actually operated the cameras and have gotten academic credit for that. I'd like us to see about the possibility of reinstating that, because I think it does two things. One, we increase transparency to the public. I think it's easier when we have public access viewing this. Two is that we give some students some actual practical academic knowledge by doing that. So that's one of the areas. I have a second.
Are
Go
you
ahead.
directing administration to look at, would you like to direct them to look at
I
the
would love to
cost
direct
of
them to do that after their vacation. Is what I do.
Well, of course. Look at the cost, what that would cost, and
Right.
all of the things that need to be put in place to do that, okay?
Can I have a?
All right, you have a-
Ma'am, just a quick response to Mr. Walter's comment?
Sure. He's got another thing, though, but when you finish.
Oh, Mr. Walther always has something else. Regarding his request, service learning is something that we've bandied about for years and years and years, but few people really understand what it means. And what that means is that you engage, you learn what is in your curriculum. You don't change your curriculum on the one hand, nor do you just go out and perform a service and it's kind of a feel-good thing, yeah, and you do something nice for the community. It's neither one of those things. Really, service learning is all about, it's a pedagogical intervention, and it's a way of teaching. And what you do is you teach the concepts in your curriculum through the actions that you engage in as service. An example of that, in addition to what Mr. Walther had mentioned, would be, for example, if you had a biology class that was investigating environmental toxins, and they went down to Kickapoo Creek, and while cleaning up that creek, also learned how to identify, measure, and deal with toxins that as part of the strand in their curriculum. That's true service learning. Those things, in my experience, are relatively rare. And so the chance that we have for our students at Richwoods to be able to engage in something like that, I think is something that would benefit all of us through transparency, is something I think we ought to grab at. And so I concur with Mr. Walther's request.
Mr. Walther, you had another?
I did. The second one was, I would like the administration, if they could, to bring a representative from Quest to come here and maybe answer some of the questions that not only members of the audience have, that I quite frankly have. I just like to be, I'm a new board member, and the relationship between the district in quest, I think would be useful for all of us to have somebody here to maybe explain some of these.
Okay. And I believe that if you wanted to visit Quest, you're always welcome as well.
It's scheduled.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Report of board committees. Any reports?
The Buildings Committee will meet on Wednesday, November 30th at 8:30 over here in the media room. And among other things, we will be talking about the future of Peoria Stadium. We did receive one proposal, for lack of a better term, from the Adam White Group, which was highly talked about at the Peoria Stadium meeting here 2 months ago. So we're going to start to dive into more detailed discussion with them on what that future might be.
Policy Committee, we met on the 16th, discussing several items, grading and promotion, drug and alcohol-free workplace, code of conduct for participants in extracurricular activities, naming of school buildings and facilities. And our next meeting is December 21st at 9:30.
Ms. Jackson?
This is not a committee meeting, but first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Peoria High School football team. And I'd like to encourage Peoria, they have enough seats in the stadium over there in Illinois, to show up and show out. So we're real proud of our students. And as an avid football fan, I will be in the stands.
Thank you. Any other announcements or Ms. Bates?
Well said. Well said.
I think it should be read.
Okay. Again, thanks for the opportunity for allowing me to do this. And as Ms. Jackson said, please come out and support our Peoria High School football team. As a cheerleader, we greatly appreciate the feedback from the audience. It helps us get through the games and helps us cheer on our boys. And again, as another announcement, please come out and purchase tickets for our magical at Peoria High School. It's December 3rd at 7 p.m., which is on a Saturday. I've also participated in that 3 times, and each year it gets bigger and better. Shout out to our choral director and drama teacher, Mr. Simon Webb. He works extremely hard every year. And Rich Woods is on the 17th and 18th, so come out and support us, please, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bates.
Any other announcements or comments? Thank you.
Madam President, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Do I need a second? Okay,
yeah,
Mr.
second.
Shaw, second. Thank you. 2 minutes.
You always got to be prepared to be the Lone Ranger. I'm proud to be a 16.